This is a rear window winder mechanism from a 47 Cadillac, and it probably relates to a lot of other 40s GM cars. So it's a two-door, so the back window rolls down inside the body. It's not inside a door. I originally took this apart because this was turning, well, a number of degrees anyway, 15 to 20, with no engagement. But I since found out that that's the way it's built. It actually has a gap in there that has to be taken up when you work the winder mechanism. So I drilled it out, punched out the rivets. So I'll put it all back together and put the rivets back in. The gear itself seems to be good, doesn't seem to be excessively worn, and that meshes with the rest of the mechanism. So in the process of replacing the window channel rubbers and all that kind of stuff, the first thing I have to do is replace these window felts. I got these from Restoration Specialties. I thought it was a pretty reasonable price. Stainless steel edging. They're flexible. You don't have a low. They're not totally flexible. They're semi-rigid. So I have to bend them into shape. Cut the backing like this, and then have this piece sticking out. I do that on both ends. I have to make the holes for the screws. There's 3 screws hold the strips in, and then I also have these clips to put on, which go down on the bottom and then clip into the bodywork. I did that on the other side, did it a little more awkward. It's the first one I've ever done, and it looks all right. We'll see when everything starts getting back together, but right now looks like it should work. So there's 2 of those on each side. There's the new strip and the old strip side by side. Best way I found to do the end was to use a vise. Pliers worked, but vise is nicer. And that end there. Just to put the holes in it, put the clips on, and I've got the marks on the original where the clips went. Put them there. Punch the holes with an awl. Don't need a drill. A drill is risky because sometimes fabric catches on a drill bit and then it will run. Don't really want that. Best way I've found to get these clips on is to use the vise. Start them by hand and then clamp them on. And they go on quite nicely, and they fit exactly where they're supposed to. It was much harder in the first one because I tried to do it on the car. And then for the screws, to avoid damaging the felt, I started them from this side, ran them through till I could see the hole, and then start them from the proper side. Just to make sure I didn't get them off center or crooked. Just makes a more sure result. And I have enough mistakes. Let's go for sure result. I'm replacing the window channel in the Cadillac. This is for a rear window. Just like that. You can see it's pretty ratty, well worn. This is the replacement channel. Sort of a stock replacement. It does not have these clips on like the Cadillac uses, but it does have the steel, the cloth cover, stainless steel ring, trim, and felt inside. Problem is I have to get these mounted on this. And these, they'll pop off with a screwdriver. Same with this one. And they have these clips inside, which I will show you. And just pry them off. And those get straightened. And then they go through and they get bent over. Problem is that in the factory, they do this with the metal channel before they put all the felt and trim on it. So it's very hard to get these to hold tightly. It's trying to clamp the felt to the metal. So what I've found is that if I mount one of them, and some of them are broken as well, they are still available, but I found, I think, a better way to do it, which is I'll use any of those that are still available, and then I'll drill a hole on the outside one, and I'll put a 1/8 inch rivet starting from the inside up, so the shoulder of the rivet is inside the channel. Then I clamp it. I don't use the pin that's in the rivet, I just use the rivet itself, and I'll show you what I do with that. And then I can pound it down into the felt on the inside, and then there's no way it will interfere with the glass. It's one of those things that look a bit odd, but this is the way it actually fits in the car. This end hangs down, goes down inside the body. This goes down inside the body from about here, so the actual window space is like this. It does appear, seems logical that it would be that way, but then the window can't wind, so it actually goes like that. So now I will measure off the clips where they're located, and then I will put the holes where I need them to be and mount the pieces. For the front windows, I had lots of channel to use. This one, it's exactly the right length, so I have nothing to spare. I can't waste any. I have to bend it in exactly the same position. I do have some room to play with the retaining clips in the channel. Slots are quite big in the car. I've picked a drill bit that is exactly the same size as the tabs at the base. I will drill the holes. I think what I will probably end up having to do with this one is to drill a hole in the middle, because I don't think I'm going to have enough. Part of one of those tabs is broken off to start with. That doesn't give me a lot to work with. I mount the big punch in the vise, clamp it. It's sitting down on the jaw, on the internal arm. I take this, push this against the rivet head. Make sure that goes down flat. There we go. Almost there. Keeping the punch on the rivet, then I can start hammering the end of the rivet over. There it is. It's good and tight. Can't move it. In some cases it's even tighter than it would be otherwise from the factory. The other thing I have to do is take this punch or a different one and hammer this flat. Right now you can hear it hitting the rivet. A bit more. There. You can feel the rivet head is down below the felt, so it will not interfere with the glass. Number one. So get it ready for the window channel, which I've prepared. It's got all the bits on it, bent to shape. Remove this clip and take out these, loosen these inner tracks to make it easier to get the channel into there, because it has, on each end, it has these clips which have to slide down a track inside. That retains it at the bottom on each side. Now, those can come out a bit more, like that. And then put one end in there. I've greased these. Just sprayed in some lithium grease from a can. That's that part. At the right height. Now, I get this one in. I have to do some bending. It's not what I like to do. And these tracks are riveted on the bottom, so there's no way they will slide out of there. There we go. Oops. There. Okay, that one's in the bottom. Okay, so I've got it in the basic location. I have to do some tapping with a board and a hammer and try and get these to seat properly. And then I'll have to do a little straightening afterwards. Special tool 65-2301, 65-2302. That one seems to be caught. Something sticking down there. That one's in. That one feels like it's in. It is all the way over. I'm going to have to straighten that out. I think I'm just going to have to hammer that flat. I don't think that's supposed to be there. Doesn't look like it. It's too narrow for the track, and the track is seated, so the channel is seated. That one's in. Those are right against the edge. So now just to straighten it to get the seat properly. I want to thank you for watching through to the end. I hope you have enjoyed this video and any of the other ones that you have seen. And I have a favor to ask. The way YouTube works and other social media, if I don't have likes and dingy bells, then I get ignored. So it's getting harder and harder to find my channel when I do searches to check on how it's going. So if you could subscribe or hit the little dingy bell, that would be wonderful. That would help me a lot. If you think you have some friends who might enjoy this series, I ask you to let them know. The more that YouTube and Rumble, etc. see favorites and people who are watching, the more they recommend it. It's getting so that when I even search my channel with the exact name, I end up down the list, and they're putting other sites before this one. So if you can help out in that way, I would sincerely appreciate it. To this point, in the 6 months or so that I've been doing these videos, I've received one comment, which tells me that not many people are watching. The most popular video I've had is about 250 people. So I'm not complaining, and I do hope this is helpful, I would like to see more people watching. It would help to encourage me in these efforts. And the one comment I did have, though, was positive. So in that regard, I'm running a 100% positivity rate. Thank you.